Hello, welcome to the live stream. Maybe some people are here. I don't know yet. It's lovely to see you all. Please let me know if you can see and hear me. Oh, I have to remove the cat proofing system. So Erin got me this very, very cute Oh My Dollar customized donut thing. But then on days when I do 2 donuts, I still need a donut cover, which is a Tupperware. These donuts are... I'm very excited about both of them. So I want to show you. I will also say I have a hard out at 5:45. So let's see if we can talk about all of this. I was planning on talking about planners, pun intended, just because it's planner season for a lot of people. Also, if you hear a very loud noise in the background, it is because the tile cutter is cutting tile like outside of our door. But we're very happy that the tile cutter is here, so we're not going to complain about the noise, okay? Because someday I will have a house. So there are I did a poll because I could not decide which of the seasonal flavors to start with. And the one that came out for winning to try is this one, which is a Marionberry lemon. So that's lemon curd in the middle, and then a Marionberry glaze. If you don't know what Marionberries are, because they're not actually terribly common outside of Oregon, I believe they were actually developed at Oregon State University. Anyway, they're really delicious. I am pretty sure that they are that. Okay, and then this is a cinnamon roll made by the donut shop. So it's a donut cinnamon roll. There are some even wilder donuts coming. They have a banh mi in donut form. I was surprised that one didn't win because I thought people would just be excited to see it. But this is actually a permanent one. I really love cinnamon rolls, so I have high hopes for this. Cinnamon rolls are like my favorite. Probably my favorite of just random. If you hear the tile cutter in the background, if you also hear a cat racing up and down the stairs, it's because Machika's in full chaos mode. Hello. The little thief ate both plates of food. She did leave. She left some for her sister, who is more excited about napping. She's not even napping. She looks blissed out like she just got into some catnip or something. She's just happy. We put her window seat back up, and she is a window cat for sure. The banh mi does sound interesting as a donut. We will definitely try it. Next week, I wasn't sure we were going to have a live stream because I'm on the bargaining committee, and I didn't know when the bargaining is going to happen, blah, 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 blah. That being said, I think I'm just gonna tell them that I have a hard out so that I can be back in time for the live stream. It just might be that the live stream is at 5 instead of at 4:30. But wow, I am really impressed with this microphone that my cat keeps stealing the cover to. It is just purely covered in cat hair. Hold on, you're gonna hear something here, but I just want to show the camera. This is because the cats keep stealing it. It's like their favorite activity. Anyway, so sorry if that made terrible noises in the mic. Oh, I see that Anna steals treats from Nova. I'm gonna need updated pictures, Media Rex, of your kittens. Since they are so young, I'm sure they are changing every moment. And also, I'm sure you have plenty of pictures of them on your camera roll. And I think that you need to send them in to do Flu for the Week. So anyway, we were planning on talking about planning this week. Because it's planner season, a lot of people are ordering new planners. A lot of the boutique brands are launching them. If you are a Hobonichi person, they are doing their drops, their insane one Hobonichi a day marketing thing. I remember at some point someone tried to tell me that Hobonichi is not heavily marketed, and I was like, this is the most marketed planner I've ever seen in my life. I don't know in what world you existed that this is not heavily marketed. Anyway, Hobonichi does this thing where every day in August they drop one detail or one preview of one of their planners or covers or like their collab or whatever. So that's happening right now. And Sterling Inc., which makes the common planner, which I have one somewhere here. She's not doing pre-orders this year. But she has already like announced a couple new like SKUs of different sizes. And that is, as far as I can tell, among the very anxious planners, causing a lot of chaos as people now are like, wait, maybe I need to try the new shiny thing. I can't hear the noises in the background, and my husband says I can hear a squirrel sneezing. That's great. In other stationary news, before we talk about the stock market, I'm not going to have that much to say about the stock market. The main thing is I wanted to address it because it was dominating the news cycles for like, I don't know, 12 hours, was that there was very large drops in most of the stock markets, largely brought on by the fact that a lot of people, I've talked so much. Hello. Hi, special guest. Am I just a bridge? Okay. This little princess needs attention. So I've talked ad nauseum about how the Japanese economy is super special. One of the things that's very interesting about Japan that is different than other countries is because they have been fighting deflation versus inflation in their currency for a really long time. They essentially had a zero interest rate for a very long time. They are now still trying to fight deflation, but they are having slightly better outlooks in their economy. And so they did a little raise of the interest rate finally. It's real small. I did a live stream where I talked about it. It's like they raised it from the 0% that it's been for years, actual years, to like 0.25% or something like that. I mean, it was very tiny increase. But that is happening meanwhile while interest rates are high in most of the other developed economies of the world. And so if you wanted somewhere to borrow money and not pay huge interest rates, and by you, I mean really fancy investors. So investors that have the ability to be moving large amounts of capital across international lines. You know, you and me, we can't go get a mortgage in Japan to buy a house in America or the UK. But really large institutional investors, very wealthy individuals, not like normal wealthy individuals, but very wealthy individuals can borrow money from Japanese lenders. And a lot of them were doing what essentially was called a carry trade. And a carry trade is where they were borrowing money in yen and then they were using it to invest in things that got better returns in other countries. Wasn't great from the perspective. Oh no, she's gone back for more. This kitten has gone back for more. I do enjoy that I gotta have kind of eyes in the back of my head with this. Okay, so they were borrowing money at these 0% interest rates and they were using it to invest elsewhere. With the raise in interest rates in Japan, and the fact that the yen has been getting stronger, they started to not find that as advantageous as it once was, right? Because if you're borrowing in yen and then you need to convert it to other currencies, if it's quite strong, you're not going to get a good exchange rate vis-a-vis other currencies. So this is like a two-part multi-pronged strategy, which is why normal people didn't do it. And the essentially investors started to move away from that as the market started to open in Japan. So that was like Sunday here in the US. So the Japanese market, by the time that it was morning here yesterday, Monday morning, and the stock markets in the US were opening, predominantly the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. So when those stock markets were about to open, there had already been like full chaos. Like, just imagine a time zone map. We've got Japan, which goes first, and then we're just slowly going over. All of the stock markets are kind of seeing corrections because investors were selling off. So that was coupled with one other factor, which is that the jobs report was not great on Friday in the US. So it wasn't terrible. Guess which sector was hurt the worst? Mine, the information sector. Broadcasters and journalists, it's feeling real good to be in this industry right now. But you know, a lot of forecasters thought the jobs report was going to be stronger than it was. We still added jobs, but it was like in the 200,000 range instead of the 500,000 range that forecasters were hoping and expected. So the US stock market's seeing the kind of combination of these factors, seeing this like yen carry trade kind of ending, and some of the information that came out of the Fed about like maybe the rates are coming down, blah, 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 and the jobs report. A lot of investors started to sell. One of them is Warren Buffett, who's a very, very well-known investor. And Warren Buffett started to sell off some of his tech shares in the really big tech firms. And when you are an investor at that scale, you start to move, you can move markets, right? So there's even rules about how institutional investors like Berkshire Hathaway that are doing like these large scale trades, like when they can do trades. A lot of their trades are actually done after hours in order to like not have the market move the way that it moves. All of this to say, there was a lot of freak out yesterday because we saw a pretty large drop in, pick a stock market. I mean, pick one, Europe, US, you know, the Japan, lots of corrections. Corrections is the way economists say, it's the way the economists say the stock market's down, just to be clear. Yes, Warren Buffett sold off half of Apple. I heard half of what he owns at least. Yeah, I heard 30%, but I would need to double check that. It was a really large scale of his total amount that he owns. And this has been kind of the trend overall of a lot of these investors are starting to move away from those big tech firms that they were invested in. If you're in the tech industry, you know that there's been a lot of like layoffs. There's been a lot of market shifts. You know, there's fear about regulatory stuff happening to the big tech companies as we watch this like TikTok battle go on in court. And it is definitely, it's starting to be that people are moving out of those and moving into smaller companies. And we actually did see that, where when you look at an index that's for the stock market that is weighted equally across companies. So the S&P 500, which is a commonly used term, is 500 of the largest stocks in the US markets. And the S&P 500 is weighted by company size. So large companies actually can move it more than smaller companies. I mean, they're the 500 largest companies, so they're still not small companies. But it's important to understand that a lot of these stock market indexes, like the Dow Jones, for example, which is mostly large companies, all of those are weighted. And because they are a weighted index, when you see like the big 7 kind of tech companies, that's how a lot of people refer to them. That's 7. I did 6. When you see the big 7 tech companies see sell-offs because of concerns about like regulatory space, changing market conditions, foreign competition, any of these things, then it can move the index more than than you would expect. And we did actually see some retreat into smaller companies. Okay, so now I've kind of like set the stage for what's happening. If you really desperately want to know like how many points it was down, I'm happy to run through the numbers. But here's the underlying thing. Are you an institutional investor? Like, are you individually someone who sits there and evaluates companies for large scale trades? No, I don't think any of you are. Probably most of your investments that are actually invested in securities is invested through your retirement plan. And your retirement plan is, unless you are retiring tomorrow, you should not be worrying about individual ups and downs when it comes to the stock market. Small dips, unless you're retiring tomorrow, you shouldn't care about it. And if you are retiring tomorrow, you should not be heavily invested in volatile securities like stocks. You should be at that point mostly in bonds, which the bonds in your portfolio are not moving at that rate. Bond yields change based on other market conditions, and they happen over a longer term. So all this to say, if you are invested in something like a target fund, where it's like, say you're going to retire in 2050 and you have a target 2050 retirement fund, those are going to be automatically rebalancing for you, which means that every so often they get the allocations get changed so that you're less and less in stocks as you get closer to retirement. If you're not in a target fund, then hopefully you are doing that yourself. This is the thing. Don't freak out. And I know that's easier to say, but these kinds of things, they get reported in the media. And I think a lot of people feel like it is representative of the economy as a whole. You care about the economy as an individual mostly. Like, the stock market is like useful. I'm happy that, to have my retirement in there because I get better returns from that than I do sitting on a pile of cash in my mattress. But the economy is what matters to you. And when the stock market was riding high, but we were all freaking out about toilet paper and layoffs and the fact that everybody that we knew that worked in a restaurant hadn't worked in months, I told everybody the stock market is not the economy, because the stock market was doing gangbusters and the economy not doing hot. And that same thing is true when we see these temporary corrections. Can the two affect each other? Absolutely. They do not exist in a vacuum. But I want you to just unburden yourself of worrying about fluctuations in the stock market on a daily scale for sure, on a monthly scale, even on an annual scale. When you're thinking, you have a long-term investment horizon. And these sorts of small fluctuations in securities are not important to you. That's my soapbox. I'm going to move off of it now. The other thing I will say, if we are thinking about being optimistic with the stock market, after I told you to not worry about daily fluctuations, yesterday was a bad day. Even Japan's Nikkei index, which was kind of what started this whole chain of events, has recovered a lot of the loss. Like, the losses that they had yesterday wiped out their entire year's worth of gains, but they're already up. And that's even more true for a lot of the other stock markets, including the US stock market, which, if you're a US or Canadian investor, that's probably where a good chunk of your investments are. Although I always recommend having some foreign investment in there. So that's all I want to say about the stock market. But I'm happy to answer questions if anybody has any questions or they want to talk about the carry trade situation with Japan. Adam, this is absolutely what I recommend. Do not log into Vanguard. Don't log into Vanguard. Don't log into TIAA. Just don't check your stuff. Don't check your stuff. I did my monthly, What is happening right now?
I gave you a picture of the cats.
You just gave me a picture of the cats.
When you
They're very cute. Aaron just gave you this picture of the cats, which is very cute. They're very cute. That's what they're doing right now, in case you were wondering. So I got distracted by the cats. They're very cute. All this to say, just don't log in. Don't log in. You don't need to change anything. Please don't go sell all your shit while the market's down. Like, just... Minnie says 65 for me is 26 years away. I got a ways to go before I panic over using any of my investments in retirement. Hallelujah. Good thing to remember that. The world runs on tech. It'll bounce back. It just might not look different. Yeah, I agree with that, although I do think that there is something to say about regulatory concerns. And I have long said the tech sector was overvalued. So I do consider this truly a correction in that, like, I think the tech sector has been overvalued for quite a while. And I think there's going to need to be some reorganization and some breaking up, maybe. I don't think certain mergers should be allowed to go through. That's my own perspective on it. Adam, this is the real thing that I think, like, kind of what gets at us, because, you know, one of the things I kept seeing was, oh, like, is this the portend a recession coming in the US, which is like our favorite cry, right? And I mean, I also do it, like, look at half my thumbnails say recession on them. If there is a coming recession, I don't think that this is that, given how quickly we recovered a lot of the gains from yesterday, like, literally the stock market is back to where it was just like a couple months ago. I personally don't think that this is a harbinger of, like, a really rough recession, if there is a recession to come. So yeah. Robert says, if you look at the big picture, Tesla and NVIDIA are going to run AI in the future. I invest heavily in both. Also, Tesla, NVIDIA, and FEP for income each month. I mean, I think that that's a valid investment strategy. For most people, I would not recommend investing a huge chunk of their portfolio in individual companies, just because picking winners and losers is historically not really determined by skill, but only by luck, even when we look at the historical data. And so generally, I recommend, if you're going to do that, you do it with your play money, but not with the bulk of your investments. And the bulk of your investments, just set it and forget it. Put it in index funds. Oh, okay. Should we talk about planners now? Yeah, I'm okay. You're okay. We're all okay. That ADHD queen. Yeah, this is absolutely correct. Not freaking out. The market ebbs and flows. Yes, absolutely. That's the real thing to know. Some people do get really freaked out by this. I mean, it's stressful if you're constantly watching it. But yeah, just log out of Vanguard. B said I logged in again. Mao, stop. Just stop. I mean, I can't make you do anything, but, you know. This is definitely the biggest drop that I've ever been aware of for myself, but I won't be looking anymore. That's the thing, is just don't, yeah. I didn't start investing until 2020 anyway, living in poverty for most of my life. It wasn't on my radar to worry about. So much of the time that I was investing while making poverty level, it was $50 a month, which sometimes was very hard to do, into my Roth IRA. And it was getting invested, but I didn't particularly love the mutual fund it was in. But, like, all of the beginning of that time was during the, like, Great Recession. Like, I started my Roth IRA in, like, right before the Great Recession. So I watched myself plug $50 a month into my Roth IRA and never saw any returns for years. But, dollar cost average, you just remind yourself you're buying things on sale. And so, yeah. Prompted by this, I just logged in and my balance went up. The advantage from being a few years from retirement. See? Yup, there are advantages. Also, I think something that's kind of interesting coming out of this, just generally, I'm going to make a note about this. If you are someone that is sitting on a lot of savings in cash, now is an interesting time to be looking at certificates of deposit. And the reason it's an interesting time to be looking at certificates of deposit is the rates are still relatively high for CDs. They're in the higher 4% range. Some of them are even at 5%. If you can afford to do a CD ladder or a CD ladder, which is essentially where you stagger the dates of maturity for your CDs so that you're always have some funds that you have some access to. Certificates of deposit are still high right now, but we got some signaling that very soon, probably November-ish, the Federal Reserve will be finally dropping these high interest rates. It's not going to come down a ton, but if you get a CD in the next month or two, you will be locking in at a higher rate than they will be offering after that rate drop. It's a thing to think about. Disadvantages of certificates of deposit are that you don't earn that money if you take it out early. And sometimes there's even early withdrawal penalties, which is why you should look into something called a CD ladder, which I explain in my book. I'm happy to walk through a little bit more for people if they want. But you wouldn't want to put money in there that you need access to within 6 months, a year, 2 years. It's kind of like your emergency fund that you're sitting on, just if you're someone that's holding on to a lot of cash. A great example is when I was planning on going to grad school and I was saving in cash for it, I knew that I wasn't going to be using it for another year or two. And that's, at the time, interest rates were really, really low. But that is a great example of something that a CD would be good for. Also, perhaps if you're saving for a down payment on a house, certificates of deposit, and you're not going to be buying imminently, you're probably going to want to wait till rates drop anyway. That might be because for a lot of people, they're sitting on a pile of cash. John says, in the prior couple of weeks, the big tech companies lost $2.6 trillion in value because they bet on AI, a technology no one asked for with no use cases. I mean, I wouldn't say that AI is a technology with no use cases. I wouldn't go that far. I think that there's I think it's very similar to blockchain it's the current trend for tech companies. I remember at one point I was in 24-hour fitness, I was running on the treadmill and they were playing ads and I saw an ad for, I think, IBM, and it was just, it said no actual context, but then it just a bunch of shots of computer towers and server rooms and blinking lights, and it was IBM blockchain technology, and I was you're not in any way explaining what you use blockchain for. Why is this relevant to a general audience? Because it was an ad that was playing on some light daytime programming that was playing in the 24-hour fitness. And I was just thinking, this represents the peak of the fervor around blockchain, is that IBM is advertising that they use blockchain, but in a totally vague way. And that's how I feel a lot of the AI has been. The funny thing is that machine learning has been used in tons of technologies prior to a consumer model AI coming out. And there's just a very, I don't know, weird obsession with it now that it's become common parlance. Then tech companies want to market themselves as using it. So, okay, oh my God. The only tech company I ever hold is the one I work for, and sometimes not then. Yeah, that's one of the things too. If you get an employee stock purchase plan, which is very common in tech companies, it's common in other fields too, but ESPPs, you know, usually it's to your advantage to take advantage of those, or if you get stock grants. Um, but I have seen people that are way over invested in the company they work for. And so like imagine like your income is coming from it, but then you're also holding a bunch of the stock. I mean, if you want to know why that can be a bad idea, ask some Enron employees. I just logged into Vanguard, and if you change the graph to show your stats since 2018, it still looks great. I like how I told everybody to not log into Vanguard, and everybody decided they were going to log into Vanguard. Cheryl says, I would never invest in Tesla in principle, and they shoot from the hip. I could see why Tesla is an interesting investment, and I think that there's a lot to be said for investing in clean tech that has very high market share. But the way everything I've heard about like Tesla on the inside, I feel like they could have a lot of potential and squander it. I do pass by a Tesla dealership on my way to work every day, so I just spend time thinking every morning about Tesla. And Montserrat says, sometimes ignorance is bliss. My mind is like a stock market monkey. 1, save money. 2, invest in ETF. 3, don't worry. I love it. I love it. That's what I recommend when I teach investing. So, I love this. Seems like the dudes that do understand the stock market are not having fun. That is also correct. Okay. Watch out for callable CDs offered by some institutions. That's actually a really good point. So callable means that essentially they can say like, yeah, never mind. We've decided we're not going to keep offering this locked in rate, even though you made an agreement with us. But that is a term to look for. Thank you for mentioning that. Canadian consumer insolvencies increased by 11.3%, by business insolvencies increased by 41.7% for the 12-month period ending May 31st, 2024. That's very high. Oh, but that's increased by. That isn't, I was like, 41% of Canadian businesses are insolvent in the past year. I read that wrong. That's still a lot, though. It would take some time up to clear for the Canadian economy. Okay. Should we eat the donuts now, or should we go through my stationery store day haul? I'm happy to talk more about the stock market if you all want, but I have a feeling you'll want to see my stationery store day haul. So stationery store day is like record store day or comic book store day, and the whole point is like support your local independent stationery stores. And as some of you probably know, I did a 6-month stationery no-buy, but I led a ride last year to all of the stationery stores participating, because in Portland we have like so many that it's like you can lead like a pretty easy bike ride to all of them. And I did it again this year, this past weekend, and I have quite a haul, partially because because I was organizing a ride. One of the stores was very sweet and made me like this whole very cute little like gift package with a lot of the like one-time only stationery store day like goodies, because they have like special merch. So okay. I see a vote for the stationery store day haul, so we're gonna do that really quick. And part of it is related to the need to figure out what I'm doing for this trip and my traveler's notebook. Okay, so the first thing, I'll do the overhead camera in a second, but the first thing is this amazing stationery store day bag. It's one of those little like folds into itself bag. But they have been, it's only been going on for like 3 years now, but they've been hiring different artists to do it. And I like love this design this year. And I will say this bag is pretty great because usually these bags that are like the super lightweight ones don't have long handles, but this one has like a decent sized handle. And I actually used it on my bike as like like an emergency backpack yesterday, and it worked really well. So that's the exciting thing there. All right. So I got a craft paper folder for my traveler's notebook. I haven't set it up yet. I got an MD cream paper insert because I'm like almost out of pages in my current insert. Those aren't the terribly exciting elements. Okay, so I got a bunch of cards. These all came from Paper Epiphanies, which is actually opening a store in the new wing of the Portland Airport. So if you're ever in the Portland Airport and you want to get like incredibly cute little local letterpressed cards, so they gave me a bunch of cards, and they gave me a lot of like sobriety and recovery themed ones, but I love that. I have a lot of friends in recovery, and so I'm actually like very excited to give some of these cards. This one's just like a therapy card. It says, whenever you're ready to talk, I'll be here to listen. This one says, sometimes a sad bitch, forever a bad bitch, love you both ways. And then it says mentally ill on the front. This one is, prescriptions, but the prescriptions say things like emotionally intelligent, stable, strong, okay, myself, present, bad bitch, capable. So I feel like that's positivity. Recovery isn't linear. I'm just excited to have a stash of like pretty great cards. I bought this one for a friend that I need to send out because her birthday was just recently. But she had it's just a truly terrible year last year. So it's fuck last year. Happy birthday. Okay. More of the stationery store day. So this is a postcard. It's like super thick. Someone was using it as a spoke card. This was actually made locally by Portland Stamp Company, which is like a very cute little stamp one. So I got this. I think I might actually have two of them. I do have two of them. So I have two of them. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the second one, but we'll find out. I got a bunch of like Oregon themed things for my big trip that I'm doing for work, because I figured I could use them to like gin up my traveler's notebook and my like little travel journal. Okay, here's the amazing washi tape. It's also like kind of stamp themed. So it's perforated and it's for stationery store day. But look how good it is. So many different ones. My favorite one is this one that says sticker hoarder. So all the stationery store day stuff was like exclusive to these stationery stores. There's a stationery store day sticker. A little Oregon one. It's more like kind of Portland focused, but we're starting in Portland, so I thought it would be cute. A Corvallis one. That's in Oregon. Oregon Coast one. They did not have it. I got a hello from Oregon, which I feel like will be good. Also, please look at the washi tape packaging. It's just like so good. All the stuff was very cute. More of my traveler's notebook stuff. So I did get an official, they had like 15% off. So at the store, that's like an official traveler's notebook store, Oblation, that was on it. So I stocked up on some traveler's notebook stuff that I know I'll go through. This is another Oregon one. It's from Oblation, though. It's like a little fox and a cat reading under Hanami. It's very cute. Okay. I haven't opened this washi tape yet. Let's see if the camera can pick it up. It is a Stationery Store Day exclusive, but it's just like these very cute little shooting stars. I was like, this is gonna work well, I feel like, for me. Another Oregon sticker. Oh, it didn't turn out that well, but we got a pull letterpress at one of the shops. I was kind of in a rush by then. Okay, I got this washi tape. It's actually, I think it's kind of like pet tape more than washi tape. But it's travel journal stickies, and it's little like foiled headers that you can use in your traveler's notebook. So it says like, well, in your travel journal, doesn't have to be a traveler's notebook. But I thought this would be very good for upcoming travel. So it says things like, let's see if we can like make it so you can see it. That says what we ate, who I was with, recommend, and it's perforated too. Yes, no. Things we did, highlights. So essentially it has like five little headers, and then it repeats. And I feel like that will help like trigger some things. I don't know. I was looking for anything because I've got this big thing coming up. I was really looking for anything that would help with my travel journaling. Another stickers Stationery Store Day one that says sticker hoarder. This one I just really liked. It's Oblation, which is one of the stores, makes its own inks, and they name them like very Portland names. And this one is Portland Rain, but I just like think it's very beautiful. So I didn't actually get the ink. I have one of their inks, which is I think the Rose City pink. And then the rest of this was prizes that I gave away, which is mostly just like tons of washi tape. So I think that's everything. That is my, oh, I do have one more. I got sketch paper. Y'all, I want to get into watercolors, but I'm very scared. There's just too much information out there, and I've been overwhelmed. Here's one of the other Sober AF, which I thought was pretty cute. Oh, and I got this for, I mean, I will always get anything that is coffee themed for Breakfast on the Bridges. Partially, we do like little crafts for Breakfast on the Bridges to thank the businesses that give us like free food and coffee and stuff like that. We call them Valentines. But we do thank yous every so often. We'll do like a crafty night. So I just bring everything coffee themed and donut themed and bagel themed that I have, and bikes and bridges. And so I can always justify getting more. But look how cute this little like barista washi tape is. So I'm very excited about that. I like how Ken is excited about Heck Yes Corvallis. So yeah, I don't know. I think I got a pretty good haul, and I didn't spend, I mean, I spent some money, to be clear, but I didn't spend outrageous amounts of money, and I came out with I spent less than like $80. I could have spent more. I almost bought remember, I didn't buy any stationery for the first like 6 months of the year. I almost bought, I was extremely tempted to buy. Oh, also, I just want to show you this last one. They made this very cute at the very last store, which is Rock, Paper, Scissors. Is a super cute little stationery store here in Portland. He made us custom stickers that said, "I survived the ride, Stationery Store Day," and gave them to everyone at the end, which I thought was so cute. That was so cute of him. Aaron made custom stickers. I designed them, but Aaron made them for everybody on the ride. And they say, I came, I rode, I bought pens. Stationery Store Day Ride 2024. Last year's was a little bigger, but it was this one. So, yeah, I don't know. I could have spent more. The thing that I didn't get that I was like very conflicted about is there's this super tiny, little watercolor magnetic palette that's like a art kit traveler's notebook, one. And I was chatting with someone in the store who I originally thought was on the ride, and it turns out they were just like a random person that was there. But they were also a roller figure skater, so I ended up getting a chat with them about that. But, oh, I also forgot. I got this coaster, which is, I got a set of 8 of these letterpress coasters that look like donuts because I am a sucker for anything donut related. And I really wanted to get it, but then it's like, they're these super cute. They're like smaller than an Altoids 10, totally flat, and they're like the right size to fit in a traveler's notebook. But I would need to also get paints, and I feel like very overwhelmed by like getting paints and a brush. And when I like don't know anything about watercoloring, and I get very overwhelmed every time I try to look it up. So I just decided this is not the time. Also, it was pretty pricey. It was like 48, and then it was like gonna be 15% off, but then I still need to buy paints. So Oblation also sells washi tape with Portland bridges and other Portland things. Yeah, the company that makes that is even more of that stuff is at Rock Paper Scissors. But yeah, I have lots of the Portland Bridge washi. I would love to actually do a collab with the guy who does this. Apparently, the person who designs this is was just started drawing the Portland bridges as like a pandemic project, and now it's like I think they're full-time business, or at least a very bustling business of making all the like Portland Bridge and Oregon Bridge themed items. But I would love to do Breakfast on the Bridges collab with them with just the B bridges, but no John Day stickers, no Lakeview stickers, no Enterprise stickers. Maybe John Day, Lakeview, one of those places will have them. I didn't go on Saturday since I'm trying to control my unnecessary spending and would love to live vicariously. I was at the Pacific Northwest show a few weeks ago. I also bought that Portland Rain sticker, but not the ink. The Oblation ink stole my heart, though, and I brought home a bottle. Oh, that's nice. That's very, that is very cute. Yeah, they do have really nice inks, I have to say. The Portland Rain is very pretty ink. Okay, y'all. We gotta eat the donuts, because I gotta go in like 25 minutes, so we gotta eat these donuts. And that is what the show is. It's talking dough and eating donuts. All right, so here is the 2 donuts. This one is a Marion berry with lemon curd, and this is a cinnamon roll. I think we're going to start with this one because this one was the overwhelming vote in the poll about which donut I should get. So, let's see. Okay, it's just a regular, like, kind of doughy donut on the inside. I'm not that impressed with the donut today. It's very bready. The glaze is amazing, though. I really want to get some of the lemon curd in the same bite as the Marionberry. I have someone standing over me trying to take a donut tax. Okay, the lemon curd is incredible. I don't feel like the glaze tastes that Marionberry to me. It tastes kind of raspberry. Marionberries do kind of taste like raspberries, but... Michael says, who did that voiceover? For the talking dough and eating donuts? I think I did, but then Aaron sped it up. Oh, it was Aaron. It was Aaron that did it. Ken, am I going to Newport? I'm going to Newport, but I will not be staying in Newport. And the Animal Crossing exhibit will be at the Newport Aquarium. I mean, that sounds hilarious and actually sounds like a really good story for us to do on the air. But I won't have time. It's a work trip, so I will not have time to do anything that isn't related to public transit. I can give you the Crayola paints to get started. Are they watercolor, though? Because I think watercolor is what I want to do. I feel like the Crayola paints are acrylic. Maybe I don't even know the difference between acrylic and watercolor. What's your verdict? Does it taste like Marionberry to you, Aaron?
Yeah. I mean, it ticks all the boxes. It's like possibly 5 out of 5.
Aaron thinks it's 5 out of 5. I remain a little unimpressed.
It is what it says. It tastes good. It's fluffy.
It is what it says. I just feel like it's too doughy. I feel like it's too bready. You can like push into it and it pops back out. The lemon curd is good. The glaze is good. Wait, is it a new voiceover, Aaron? On the no, okay. All right. I'm going to rate this. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5.
Not even 4.5.
I don't have a 4.5 button, thanks to no one making me a 4.5 button, so... Okay. I don't know if I can do another donut, but we're doing it. I do love a cinnamon roll. So this is their new cinnamon roll, and it is a vegan cream cheese glaze, but it's a donut, so it's like fried. This is a hunk of a donut. I mean, it is heavy. I feel like this is a quarter of a pound. Okay. I will say the glaze is very, like, hardened. And I want it to be creamier. Okay. The cinnamon on the inside is really good. I honestly feel like this glaze is like, it's like hard enough that it makes a sound when you, I feel like it should be softer. If it's cream cheese based. I don't know. In your opinion, which way should a cinnamon roll be? I mean, that's the good. Cinnamon roll should be very messy, in my opinion. The best vegan cinnamon roll I had was at this place in Seattle. I've mentioned this in the live stream before. But they were a store that only sold cinnamon rolls, but like custom over-the-top cinnamon rolls where you could put like dozens of different toppings on them. And it was very good. There's a place like that in Portland. It has a very cute name. It's like Snail Roll or something. I wasn't nearly as impressed by it. Okay, this cinnamon roll is pretty good. It's not the best cinnamon roll I've ever had. I would absolutely eat it again. They did just start doing this, and I wonder if the cream cheese frosting is going to get creamier. Maybe it's just like it hardened because I bought it hours ago. That's also a 4 out of 5 for me. It's not a 5 out of 5, but I feel like a 3.5 would be ranking it too low. Because I would probably choose that over several other donuts. A cinnamon roll, it's a vegan cinnamon roll only store too, actually. It's in exactly the hipster part of Seattle you think it is, if you know anything about Seattle. It was very good, but also like those cinnamon rolls are like very filling. I think they probably were, despite being vegan, like 1,000 calories per cinnamon roll, which is fine with me. If I'm going to a custom cinnamon roll place, I'm going there to eat a lot of food. But I just felt like the rest of the day I was sort of like on a bit of a sugar high. And it was a little hard to finish it. But you can put like all sorts of toppings on it. It was very interesting. Okay. Let's fill in. This is the donut log where we're now on the third and fourth donut in this donut log. Do you think by the time I'm done with this one, I should make a custom Oh My Dollar donut log branded? Do you guys think it would be hilarious to have a donut log on one half and then a budget log on the other in like a little mini traveler's notebook? Would this be useful to anyone but me? I think it would be great merch, but maybe it's a little ridiculous. Okay. 4 out of 5. Hey, we have like 15 minutes before my next thing. How about, oh, I only filled in this with 3, but I want to rank it 4. Okay. There we go. 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5. This is what my new traveler's notebooks are going to go into that I bought this weekend. I'm probably going to have a planner live stream next week just because I'm leaving on a trip the following week. I actually probably will not be able to do the live stream the following week because we're going to be on a ship. So I will not have good enough internet to be doing a live stream. I was thinking about doing a live stream on Saturday, not this upcoming Saturday, but the one following, at like a pack with me live stream because I just thought that would be very funny. Be like a chaotic pack with me live stream. But we'll see if that happens or not. If I do it, it's going to be like a late notice sort of situation. I love the idea of an Oh My Dollar donut log. Well, these donut logs were made by a local company. So this is why I feel like there is potential to do it. And then I don't think I have it here. But I did an Oh My Dollar like pocket budget planner already. And I also got it printed locally. And so I feel like there's like a possibility of merging the two. A half and half journal might bother the completionists if they get filled at different rates. Well, I was actually thinking about doing it like where it's like one of the half and halves where you flip it and you like one side. So like the front would be budget and then you flip it and it's donuts this direction. I don't know. That's what immediately comes into my head as a vision. And I would assume like the donut log would be smaller than the budget log because most people have to deal with money more often than they deal with donuts. I don't know. Maybe it's very silly. Can you split it in a way where people select what they log? What do you mean by select what they log? Okay, apparently my mom knows what to do. I forgot that you used to have those like watercolor parties, so my mom can solve my watercolor problem, maybe. I don't know. I'm really tempted to get that tiny little watercolor palette. It's very cute. Um, Wait, you're gonna watch an archived video? Oh, what will we do with our Tuesday night? I don't know. I'm gonna be on the sea in the Caribbean hoping not to get COVID. Or flesh-eating bacteria. I really have gotten myself into like fear over this cruise ship situation. It just seems like it's a giant cesspool of germs and I'm not really looking forward to it. So, oh, you mean like make it like a log, but you could log whatever you want. I do kind of like that. This donut log, one of the downsides I think is that they have this like it's already, hold on. It already has like a template for drawing your donut. So I think that'd be kind of fun. I must have inhaled sugar wrong because now I'm like randomly coughing. Okay, y'all. Tell me what you were looking forward to this week. We got 10 minutes. Then I got to bounce to my next meeting. What am I looking forward to this week? Oh, it sounds like I am finally going to be able to file this story that I've been working on for months this week. After it gets run by legal, but I finished writing it, which was hard. And I finished reporting it. So I'm really excited about that. It might not actually get posted till the week after, but I am stoked to finally finish that one. Maybe donut of the week, so 1 donut per page. Maybe we can use donut as like a symbol in some ways. Like donut is the treat you give for like doing your budget each week or something like that. Like donut is like it's a it's more like a concept than it is something concrete. I don't know. I thought I wasn't hungry enough to eat 2 donuts, by the way, but both of them are gone. So yeah, I think that's what I'm looking forward to this week. What are you all looking forward to this week? Is anybody going back to school this week? Is that happening for people? Oh, I did learn. It's only temporary, but I learned that apparently I'm leading the 100-day challenge at my yoga studio that I'm doing, which does make me feel good because I've been having to rearrange my life a lot for it. And I have wondered what the point is. So even though the point isn't to beat other people, it was nice to know that I was leading because it feels like, I don't know, I get like a temporary boost, adrenaline boost from that. I've been having to do like a bunch of double days so that I can like bank, where double days meaning I do 2 classes in a day. So mostly I've been doing like a 6 a.m. class and then like a 6 p.m. class. And the the issue with that is just, it's just a lot of time. But I'm doing it so that I can bank classes for when I'm on this cruise. Cheryl's looking forward to vacay next week. That's nice. Where are you going? I don't think I know where you're going. I should probably know where you're going. Kids come back to school Monday. Are you looking forward to that or are you fearing that? I don't know why I'm suddenly coughing. I must have inhaled some of that cream cheese too much. Or maybe the dust is floating around from the lights. Do you think the tile dust is getting in my throat? It's definitely one of those irritated coughs. Erin, can you do some admin stuff in the chat? I don't have it up. Oh, going to LA for Herbie Hancock and the Headhunters. I am assuming that's a band because I've never heard of them. That's exciting though. Okay. Well, I hope everybody has a lovely week. I just saw Bob's comment from ages ago, which was if I wanted to freak out, I would try to catch a drone on a boat. Well, that's what I did on Sunday. uh, Schools are creepy in the summer, so I'm looking forward to them coming back. Oh yeah, that is true. It's like a weird empty thing. I was shooting at a Fred Meyer yesterday and I was talking with the store manager and he's like, it's always really creepy to be in here in the middle of the night. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember that from when I worked at a grocery store. This week, processing a 10-year relationship final discard. I mean, I hope that's something you're looking forward to. The processing sounds unfun, but maybe the lightness that you'll feel at the end of that. ADHD Queen, I don't know where the tile dust would be coming from because all of the doors are closed, but maybe it's found its way in through like the cracks or something like that because he's been like cutting tile all day. I was looking forward to driving to see family this weekend, but the East Coast US hurricane may cancel those plans. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people's power has been out, and it's like a lot of people on edge right now. So I hope everybody stays safe out there. Hope you get a visit, or maybe you get to delay your visit to another time if that can work. I used to love an empty school. Cheer camp, we ran the halls. I think the way that teenagers feel about an empty school is very different than how adults feel about an empty school. David says, I missed all the fun again, nodded off. Wow, you went to sleep early. Are you in New York or are you elsewhere where it's a more reasonable time to go to bed? You did miss all the fun. You can rewatch the fun though. We talked about the stock market. I showed everybody all the stuff that I bought / obtained this weekend at Stationery Store Day. And what else should we discuss? Oh, I ate 2 donuts. That's it. That's all you really need to know. All right. I probably need to Craig has meet the teacher, walk the schedule events this week. School starts on the 14th. Looking forward to it. 3 kids in high school this year. Whew, that's a lot of hormones all in one place. Herbie was big in the 80s. I was not aware of Herbie in the 80s, but I wasn't aware of many bands in the 80s. All right. Well, I hope everybody has fun with their eminent school starting, with their jazz bands that I haven't heard of from the 80s, and their empty schools. I hope I'm sending you a lot of healing energy this week. And I hope you all stay safe. David, I hope you get some sleep and your stomach feels better. And I will see you all next Tuesday. It may be at 5 p.m. instead of 4:30, so that'll be 8 p.m. on the East Coast instead of 7:30. I will post it if both on the forums and also if you're a Personal Finance Society member, which is free to join, although if you pay, it helps support our community programs. But if you join the Personal Finance Society, that's where I've been sending announcements out. But I will let you all know as soon as I get information on our bargaining times next Tuesday. Until then, please stay safe, stay hydrated, pet a cat if you have one available, and I will see you all soon.